Good afternoon. I'd like to call this meeting of the Santa Rita Union School Board to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Neil Patel,
Present.
Ms. Alvariano,
Present.
Ms. Sarah Turner,
Present.
Mr. Jacob Sandoval, and Ms. Cindy Lopez are not present.
Thank you. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our closed session items, first, I need a motion to approve the board agenda 1.3.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion 3-0.
Today in closed session, 2.1 potential litigation under Government Code 54956.8 and 54956.9. We have conference with legal counsel, on 2.2, 2.3, public employment performance evaluation, and 2.4, conference with labor negotiators. Do we have any public comment related to closed session items?
We do not.
Then 4.1, I would like to have a motion to adjourn to closed session.
I make a motion to adjourn to closed session.
So motion. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Motion 3-0.
Thank you. Thank you. We are reconvening into open session. During closed session, item number 2.2, a majority of the board voted 3-0 to approve a compromise agreement in office administrative hearings, case number 20260100908, to resolve education and related claims raised against the district in exchange for a total not to exceed $12,000, including attorney's fees. We are going to adjust the agenda to remove 9.2. Could I have a vote to adopt the new agenda with the removal of 9.2?
So motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion 3-0.
Okay. We are at number 5, approval of the consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
I have a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion 3-0.
So we are now at item six, reports and correspondence. 6.1, Santa Rita Teachers Association.
No comment.
Okay, we do not have a comment from them. 6.2, Santa Rita Schools Employee Association, Chapter 503.
I do have a message from Chapter President Juana Casillas, who said, "Good evening. On behalf of CSEA, we have no report at this time, but we would like to thank the district and board for the continued support of our classified staff. Thank you."
Thank you. We could do nothing without our classified staff, so we are grateful for them every single day.
Here, here.
We are going to 6.3, pardon me, Superintendent's Cabinet.
We will start with Miss Melanie Grundy, our Director of Special Education and Student Services.
Perfect. I just have a few items I'll just briefly mention. So, my department was able to attend the Safety Care Trainer of Trainers certification yesterday. So we went through our 5th recert. You have to do it yearly. I'm actually really sore from it today because it's a lot of physical pieces. We actually have already hosted 1 recert for some of our staff over spring break, and we have 2 more in the coming weeks. So we'll have a total of 80 or so people, including contracted service providers, SPED teachers, SLPs, OTs, all certified. And again, that's our program that we're using for de-escalation strategies and physical management if it gets to that. Okay. Just wanted to remind everyone that Special Olympics is May 8th. So we've just been working on getting parent involvement, and working on t-shirts and just getting as much student participation. We have expanded, so it will be all of our SDC this year. We just took our mod severe last year, but we're growing into our mild mod SDC programs this year as well. Appreciate transportation and just them working really hard to ensure that we have buses and folks to get us there. Have been working really collaboratively with HR on just the amount of SPED hiring that we have. We are in that time of year where I like to kind of start looking at contracts as well. So while we'll continue to fly positions, interview SPED teachers, SLPs, OTs, that we're also working with contractors to make sure that we're looking at all available candidates to ensure that we have in-person services for next school year. And that's it for me. Thank you.
May 8th, and it's where?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's at Monterey Peninsula College. It's my favorite day of the year. When I was an employee over in that district, I used to go every year. And then last year, they actually opened it up countywide. So most of our sister districts attend. It's a huge event. I can send you more info because it's a really fun event. They do all kinds of races that you can join in the fun too. So,
I'll be your calendar it.
okay, I will send you more info.
Okay, and then our Chief Human Resources Officer, Miss Claudia Arellano.
Thank you, Melanie. So for me, I would like to take this time to present to you our Teacher of the Year and our Classified Employee of the Year. This year, Ms. Rosaura Rochin, it's coming up, 3rd grade teacher at Santa Rita. She was selected. Some of the highlights of the characteristics that make her an amazing teacher are her dedication to our students, She's done that for 20+ years.
Wow.
She was described as a fierce advocate for the whole child, a mentor and a pillar of our community, and most definitely a true architect of student success. Then next, we have our classified employee of the year, Ms. Osela Martinez, health aide at La Jolla. She has served our students for over 20 years, creating a true safe haven for our students. Her interactions are always with genuine empathy and a student's first mentality. So both staff will be further recognized on May 8th, another event at 5 p.m. At the MCOE Employee of the Year Awards ceremony, which will be taking place at the Embassy Suites Monterey Bay in Seaside. So we would like to say thank you to Trustee Arellano, site administrators, SRTA President, Ms. Ashley Tripp, CSA President, Ms. Juanita Casillas, who joined our superintendent and myself as we went to find our nominees at their normal posts, surprising them and delivering the great news. That's it.
That was wonderful. I really loved attending. This is the second year. And those recipients were just very, very shy. Well, not Mrs. Roisin, but the one that was at the La Jolla, she was very shy and she kept on working with her kids while we were there before she got her award. But it was a pleasure joining you on that. Thank you.
Wow, 49 years combined.
Yeah.
Dedication.
And
Wow.
you know, Mrs. The one from Ms. Roisin, she said, when we told her that it was 29 years, I think you said, she said, actually, it's 31.
Yes, she's worked, I think, 2 more years outside of the district. So
Okay.
with the district is 29 plus 2 additional years outside of the district.
It's 31. Oh,
Sorry, 51 years.
Okay, and then our Director of Engagement and School Climate, Dr. Summer Prather-Smith.
I have a couple of items, but I wanted to, I feel like we haven't been here in forever. I don't know why. Was I absent one of the times?
The spring break.
I guess. I feel like I'm like, gosh, it's been so long. I want to start with a short video. This past week, JGMS took on our initial challenge of doing our teacher shadowing a student day. And so Ms. Ramos had put together a little presentation. I just wanted to share that with you. Disappear. There it is.
do we have this every year?
No, this is the first year. So we had put forward the challenge a little while back, kind of like, this is something I wanted to kind of take on and start having us do. And we started with our work with Dr. Dominique Smith down in San Diego. And so this is our first.
And the teachers dressed apart.
They were as nervous. There's one that I'm not showing because it's like 10 minutes long with one of the teachers. And yeah, she was more nervous than the students were. Cool. Yeah.
Like, what's some advice that you can give teachers, or what's advice you would give your other teachers as well?
Like, how about like, I'm gonna try your best to understand kids more to help them out with their being at home, comfort them, and show a little bit of love to them.
True. I think that's really good advice.
Okay, so what could make classes more interesting on the pool team?
Well, I get that teachers have multiple students to attend, and when they're teaching, it kind of has to be an overall lesson and not just directly on one person. I get that, but I would like that they would kind of talk to individuals more. Because it's not just me, but from what I've seen, like some people they just kind of like they just go through the day like another student, not as someone that's valued. Like they're just another student in the class. They're not like, seen as
Like each person learns individually. I can
yeah,
understand.
because we all learn at different.
Yeah, yeah. I do feel though that like our teachers today like made an effort of like going around and like if you did have a question, they came to you and like
All 3 years I've been here, everyone, all the teachers, all the staff, they outreached me if any
Yeah.
problems.
What do you enjoy most about being at school?
My teachers,
Okay.
my
Yeah.
friends, and the food.
Okay. Do you want to give a couple shout out to some teachers you have that make you enjoy coming to school?
Sure, Armenta and Jocelyn.
Okay.
open reflection says if you were a staff member at JG, what would you change first at our school?
I love this one. There's obviously nothing's perfect, so it has flaws, but those flaws are outshined by all the positive. Yeah, all the positive.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. It's super.
Are you happy that you were chosen to do this?
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's something that we should continue doing in the future?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. This was good.
So just a big thank you to the staff and to the students who, allowed our teachers to shadow them. The feedback from both sides was, I want to do this again. Like I learned so much. In the longer video and in some of the debriefs, you'll see that several of the teachers said, not only did I take away from other teachers things that I want to implement in my classroom, but I learned from the student I was with what's going to serve our students better. And so next year, we're hoping to expand. JGMS already has a bunch of teachers who volunteered and said, I want the next round. And so we're hoping that at each of our sites next year, all of our teachers get this opportunity with their students. And again, a big thank you to the students. It takes a lot of courage to have a teacher with you all day. And they took it on and loved it also. And our teachers packed little lunches for them. Yeah, it was a great event. So thank you to them. I wanted to share our next upcoming town hall meeting will be on May 4th here at Gavilan View Elementary. As I kind of shared, we're going to take a little bit of a different approach with this one in that we are going to a key area that came forward in each of our town halls was parents wanted more information about bullying prevention and cyberbullying. So we will do kind of an opening and then parents will go into breakout rooms where our bullying prevention team will be doing small workshops for them. And this will kind of lead into the idea for next year where we'll do a full day parent conference around mental health and health services as well. So that'll be on May 4th, 5 to 7:30 at Gavilan View. This weekend, we leave for the state tournament of the Destination Imagination. We're taking 2 of our teams. We leave Friday afternoon. This time we're staying till Sunday. We'll leave Sunday morning because we were real tired on Saturday night driving home last time. And we're going to assume we're going to be champions. The kids are already asking about the national tournament, which is in Kansas. And I'm like, let's get through this tournament. But again, thank you to the adult volunteers. We couldn't make it happen without Miss Ramos, Miss Amy Choate, who'll be there, Madonna, Katis, and then myself will be supporting our students this coming weekend there as well. And then my last piece is I had the privilege of spending 4 days this week in Colorado with our restorative practice team, working with the University of Colorado around safe communities, safe schools. And so really good information. I left there with lots of ideas and work to do. So we'll be hearing more about that as we kind of start into our next year. And then that tied into our Safe School Ambassadors training that happened for all of our students across all of our sites. And so we have 7 to 8 students from each school that were trained to be Safe School Ambassadors. And then Haley Heron, our restorative practice TOSA, will be taking the lead in supporting our students along with the assistant principals at each site in this upcoming year. So good things happening as we round out the year. Thank you.
Just a comment. Ms. Smith, Dr. Smith, I just want to commend you on the job I want to say job shadow. I was going to say student shadowing. as a teacher, I just see so much value in that. And it's a unique perspective I haven't seen before. And it hits on so many different levels, not only the student you're shadowing, but the other students see that, the question is always the students, well, you don't know what I'm going through throughout the day. You don't know how my classes are, and for a teacher to be there to shadow that student and the other students see that, and, participate in PE, run the mile, go through the cafeteria line, work on problems together. That's a unique perspective I've never seen. And I've been teaching, quite a few decades now, and well, 2 decades. But it's a very interesting approach, and I'm so make sure, I want to thank all the teachers participating, and I look forward to it growing. Once again, I'm not often surprised in education, but today I was. So continue the great work. I'm fascinated.
All the teachers said they had to go home and take a nap. They were like, that was exhausting. And I was like, yeah, it is.
I've recognized a lot of the teachers, but a lot of those teachers look like students.
They dressed the part?
Yes. I'm like, wow, they're young. And also, like Neil said, that experience of, I'm sure some of them that have never taught middle school, going from one class to another class was a big eye opener. Well, they know, but they followed with the students. So that was an experience for them. So that is good. It's the first time I've ever heard of this.
Miss Chavez, the teacher that had the little bandana, she was one of my kindergarten students. So I'm glad you said they look young because it validates.
They do. They do.
Okay. Our Assistant Superintendent of Ed Services, Ms. Becky Moore.
Thank you. Nothing nearly as exciting or heartwarming as my partner, Dr. Prather, but we have state testing beginning on Monday. That'll be the CASP and the science test, the CAST. And so our principals and coaches and teachers are all preparing for that to begin. They're ready, and we're excited to see how our students do. Our LPAC testing is well over 90% complete. The only students who are not yet complete are students who enrolled in our school district late, and so they have either just completed the initial or need to do the initial exam, LPAC, and then they'll need to do the summative before the end of the school year. So it's a tight turnaround, and we try to give them at least a few weeks in between if possible. And I know our EL specialists, I met with them today, they're all eager for those summative results to start coming in so that they can work on any final spring reclassifications. In particular, we focus on our students in 5th grade and 8th grade, so those who are going to be transitioning to another school, to make sure that if they can be reclassified before that transition, we make that happen. And finally, it is LCAP engagement session or season. And so at the school sites, the principals are meeting with their school site councils and ELACs, their certificated staff and classified staff to gather input on the LCAP and what types of revisions we might want to make for next year. I'm reviewing all of that as it comes in and beginning the writing process for that. A new update in California, well, I guess California is where we have the LCAP, is that the new plan for next year does need to be approved absolutely no later than June 30th, or we will be assessed a 20% penalty. And so we've always met that deadline. We will continue to meet that deadline, but just knowing that that's such a significant portion of our funding really adds some pressure. But it's all right. We're on track and it will be done.
I'm sorry. I just have a really quick question. Somewhere I saw where Mrs. Fisher's celebration of life.
I was just looking that I forgot that. I'll add that on here. So Susan Fisher, the founding principal of McKinnon, will have a plaque dedication on the 24th from 4 to 5 at McKinnon Elementary. I'm working with the site right now to kind of make some determinations exactly where the plaque will go. And we should have that by the 20th so that we'll be able to have that mounted. If for some reason there's a glitch, we'll have the plaque and determine where it's going to be mounted afterwards as well. And I have reached out and kind of invited all of our former educators here as well as her family. Unfortunately, her family won't be able to make it to that. They'll be here later in the year, but I did send them that and let them know that I would also send pictures for that day.
So it's the 24th at 4 o'clock.
24th at 4 o'clock at McKinnon.
Thank you.
Thank you. We are,
I apologize, just one comment. I think the board knows how I feel about SBAC over the years by now. Having said that, I just want to ensure that, each school has the right positive climate, has the posters, have the rah-rah mentality, teachers are upbeat. I think the environment sets the tone, in terms of all personnel, working towards one end, and that is, having our students believe in themselves and do their best and, and show the worth of this district, because that's our only data that goes to the outside world is our SBAC, balance board, whatever you want to call it. But, I just hope that, we have things in place that will create that positive, hopeful environment. And if you can just reiterate that to staff, and to make sure each school is properly working on that. Thank you.
thank you. We're going to go to 6.4, the board and superintendent. So Mr. Patel is back to you if there anything you'd like to report.
No, I was counting, was it 35 school days left? 34? If we were a battery, we started 100%. Now we're at what? Less than 20%, the yellow light's on. I wish our teachers and staff well. I would like to close out the year in the best possible way. Stay strong. These are probably the hardest months, especially with SBAC and everything else going on in finals. So, Godspeed and good luck. And, let's hope all this hard work pays off. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Miss Ariano?
Yes, on March, we had our last board meeting, March 11th, and the following day, I went to the Disney musical, and it was the most inspirational play I have ever gone to for the New Republic kids. I mean, I don't think, and that's because we have that grant. But Mrs. Vossler and her whole team worked very hard. And I'll tell you, it was just as good as the Ariel Theater. I really enjoyed it. I felt like a little kid just watching this whole musical. And the main character was I don't remember her name, but boy, was she. Yes, she was so good. So I went there, that was March 12th. And then I also attended the Curriculum Council where Becky facilitated, and it was a very productive afternoon. And of course, I went with Claudia and the team there to present the teacher and the classified of the year. So that was great. So I hope to do a little bit more before school ends. So we'll see. Well, I've got dates here, so I'll report back. Thank you.
Thank you. I attended the facilities committee last week, which it's kind of funny to say that you love to go to the facilities meetings, but I really do because I love the collaborative nature of the meetings. I love being focused on providing the best for our students and problem solving. I just find the energy at those meetings, I always leave in a good mood. I also am the board person who looks over all the board policy changes that are suggested by the state, and I appreciate all the work that the district puts into doing that before they're given to me. So both those things you're going to see on the agenda later, the facilities update and the board policy update.
And God bless you with the policy. I just want to say that.
We're doing great things for kids, but it is work. So on to Dr. Alderman.
Thank you. At our last meeting, I believe Mr. Sandoval had asked if we could reach out to the city for an update on the WASP development. I have reached out both to the city planning department and the city manager's office, and we haven't heard anything back yet. So I'll let you know as soon as anyone from the city lets us know if they have any updated information on the startup of that development.
Thank you. We are now at 7.1. Is there any public comment on non-agenda items?
There are no public comments on non-agenda items.
7.2, any public comment on agenda items?
There are no public comments on agenda items.
Okay, thank you. Going forward, we are at 8.1. This is information, the Facilities Committee update.
Thank you. As Ms. Turner shared, the Facilities Committee is something that we put in a few years ago. It's a district level team with representatives from across the school sites. And we review the district's facility projects regularly throughout the year. And at least annually, we review our district facilities phasing plan and recommend any substantial changes for consideration for the Board of Trustees. We'll be looking at that at our next meeting, actually. And so might be off. Okay. Okay. Perfect. And so we just quickly going over it, we talked about our GV modernization status, our La Jolla and TIP status, and then resubmission for our modernization, new construction eligibility worksheets, status of our school dude and work order system, and then a little bit about our goal to establish a fund for larger site beautification work that we would do in the summer so that we are purposely putting our schools on a annual rotation to receive one of those larger projects. So getting in there, we had about a week's delay in the original timeline for delivery of our phase one buildings, but the company was able to correct that over spring break. And then, so remember our meeting was the 2nd, so I'm talking like past tense, but so those sections were, they'll be delivered now and craned onto the foundation as they come out of manufacturing. And so what happens during that process is they're leveled, aligned, secured to the foundation. They're joining together floors, walls, roofs. They do the weatherproofing and the stucco, and then they move into like electrical, HVAC, IT, plumbing, all of those exterior and interior finishes, any touch-ups that need to happen prior to inspection. Only after inspection goes through do we add in our furniture and it's ready for use. And so we're on that original target for November, December window. I don't want to make promises. Our contractor feels like we might be able to bring that date up. But of course, I never want to put out there for sure. So right now we know we're currently on our original timeline with hopes that with weather permitting, that we're able to get that done just a little sooner. So right now it would look a lot like the timeline that JG just experienced this year for when teachers would be able to move into their rooms and open them for students. Luckily for Gavilan View, with the layout of doing the one-story buildings, it did allow us to be able to put the buildings on their foundation, get our landscaping, get our students in and using those classrooms before we're required to demolish the older portables. And so we're able to move our students in. We'll be able to do that with La Jolla as well because the new buildings will be going in an area that students don't currently have classrooms for the most part. Just a few pictures. So this is like delivery day when those first phase one sections were coming in. You can see they're just being placed on their blocks right there for storage. And they have already been placed now on their foundation. So this was, we took these pictures that week. So they were in. They were going to be doing some of the welding on the roof lines, but we had a little bit of rain that day, so they shifted and started on some of the interior work that they were able to do and wait for a drier day to do their welding. So progressing, and you're able to see those going up. One thing I want to do, we had an internal facilities meeting, but since this is a public meeting, is go back and thank our voters for Measure R. That's what's helping get this project going. And hopefully the state is able to, as soon as this project is done, we'll submit for our reimbursement for that portion because that then helps move on the next project. And so I just wanted to take that moment to thank our voters and let them know that as this progresses, we will be putting out some media for them so that they know that those dollars are being put to the original intended use and to good use for our students here at Santa Rita. And then the La Jolla slash TIP program, because there are two things that are going to happen at that school site. So the board entered into an agreement with Monterey County Office of Education a few months ago to provide a space on that campus to establish the elementary TIP program, the therapeutic intervention program, as a separate facility that will have its own dedicated entrance and parking and little bus turnaround on Rogie Road that will be used by TIP and MCOE Head Start. So that way, even the Head Start program, they'll have an entrance closer to their actual building, and parents won't be having to walk all the way across La Jolla to get to those classrooms. They're slated to have begun construction as of March 30th, which is probably the non-glamorous parts of construction work, which is a lot of like testing and soil and all of those things. And so then for the facilities that they'll have, they have room for office, restroom, up to 5 classrooms, that parking lot and driveway there. And the students that are served in the TIP program will still be able to have their gated access to those La Jolla playfields. And their scheduled completion date is December 31. And so that then plays into our La Jolla modernization project. And so with that completion date, La Jolla groundbreaking will commence as the TIP project reaches those final stages so that we don't have 2 cranes on the campus and those kinds of things. And so there's a little bit of a staggering of those projects. And so as they're winding theirs up, we'll be starting ours. And both projects, because they need that space. And then La Jolla will also, with the moving of our TIP students out to their new facility, they will regain those 3 classrooms that TIP currently occupy. And that'll help with some flexibility as we start their project. And if anyone needs to be moved to out there to those areas, and in order for the construction zone to take place as seamlessly as possible. And it'll be similar to GVMS because as we shared in facilities, those new classrooms and our students are able to move out there, and then we demolish the older portables that are currently at La Jolla. Last phase would be additional parking Rogie Road and that main office facing that direction. Our most important part of this, of course, is getting students those modernized classrooms. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that'll be really good for those students. Yeah. Yes, for sure. And the TIP program serves students from all over Monterey County, and many of our students are able to access that program as needed as well. And we benefit from being able to house it in our district, and we're happy for that partnership to continue. So modernization, new construction eligibility, just to share out for folks who don't know, it's something that you want to do regularly. We had met with our consultants earlier on the 2nd to discuss updating our developer fee study this July. And just as like an information piece, as a reminder, the current level 1 fees, so that's for new residential and commercial development in district boundaries, this is set by the state. And so that's $5.38 for residential per square foot, and then 87 cents for commercial. Level 2 fees, those are the higher fee to fully mitigate impact of new development, and they must be justified by that capacity impact. So that's part of what you want to keep your information fresh. Do your new school facilities needs analysis each year in case that changes. And so you're taking into consideration the spaces available on campuses and what programs occupy those spaces.
Quick question on that. Is that reset every year by our state government?
The state does the level 1 fees annually, and then the formula is what we use to do the level 2 fee.
2 and 3?
Yeah,
Okay.
both. Yeah.
Well, no, the only reason I mentioned that is
Mhm.
given inflation and given the rising cost of construction costs, I expect that to go considerably higher.
We hope. Yep. And so we're getting ourselves on that timeline so that when that rolls out, we have our plan approved and in place. So the level 2 fees have to be justified, and that's done through that formula of your number of classrooms, what they're used for, your current enrollment, and all of those pieces. And the level 3, that's a higher fee that it's also done with a formula, and it's allowed when the state funding is not available and state 2 doesn't fully mitigate growth impacts. So there's parameters around level 3 actually coming into use, but it's good to have it in the event that it does happen at the state level, that it's there and it's set through our school facility needs analysis. And that number is currently, with our current plan, at $14.54. So going through that, our process for that actually is we'll be bringing some items to the board, our resolution to start that process and do those pieces, get that in place. And then in July, we'll bring you the final plan for your approval. Yes.
I just want to commend the software company that came up with the name School Dude.
Yes.
You know, out of all iterations possible.
Yes.
That's succinct, straight to the point.
So that's our current work order system for when school sites need to request work that is beyond, just the average daily job functions of our site custodian. So the process, you submit your request, teachers, students, parents needed. You've got your people at the school site who enter the request. Administrative review. It's a new request. Your principal or assistant principal reviews. They're either approving for maintenance, or if it's something that can be done at the school site, they're going to assign it to a custodian. For emergencies, maintenance, ask that you call them directly. They want to make sure that they're noted. And then when the tickets are assigned, the request has been approved, then it goes to Ana and Jesus in that department to assign to a maintenance technician, and the requester is notified. I want to talk a little bit about, and the completion, the technician completes and the work order's closed, requester notified. Now, at our meeting, we talked about, because we have representatives from every school site, that some folks then went, I'm not getting the notification. And so it's a big system, and going in and keeping all the right boxes checked. And so Krisha Kerpool, our Director of Technology and Innovation, was able to work with Jesus Medina, our Supervisor of Maintenance, Operation and Facilities, to go through that. And it's one of the benefits of having facilities committee, is because we assume it was working as it should until we're in the room with some of the folks that go, I've put in a request and I don't get the thing back. The secretary receives it, and it's just more steps than necessary. And so they were able to sit down and comb through that and identify where things hadn't been checked correctly. And so getting that functionality where it should be. I do know that Krisha and Jesus have been looking at, and Chuck Helm as well, for a more comprehensive system that would work for multiple departments. And we're about a year off of being able to implement that, because you want to make sure that you're onboarding each thing together so it opens up all at once. But it's just a better flowing system. And so that's something that they'll continue to work on. But in the meantime, we wanted School Dude to function as the way we thought it was functioning. And so turns out it was just one of those side benefits of when you have everybody in the room and you go, wait, I had no idea that was happening. And other people go, I had no idea that was supposed to be one of the functions. And so.
Just a comment on that. Whether it be tech related, it's like opening a ticket, or in this case, a work order, I think the number one thing is status updates.
Yeah.
To the person who first submitted the ticket or the work order, and that to me is very important. So, I'd love to see some information on that. But as long as people feel like, hey, I presented an issue, they're working on it, what stage they are in the process, just by providing that, it creates a great built-in level of trust in the system and a more efficient use of it, you know. So I would love to see that as well. So
Yeah.
I'm glad we have both systems in place.
So just for this fiscal year, and so from July 1 to April 2nd, we pulled some data on work orders. So out of 1,030 work orders for this fiscal year, they're at 92% completion. And you can see some of them were duplicate requests, like maybe two people put in the same request. And so they'll tag it as a duplicate and the system records that. And so then going through and making sure, so what we had is oftentimes the secretary is the one who is the requester and they're receiving information, and principals are like, it would be really nice if I also receive that, because sometimes people ask me, and then instead of having to take the additional step to go find another person to say, have you gotten the notification? So we were just able to identify who all should receive those notifications. And sometimes it's just a cursory glance to be like, okay, great. Or that if a principal logs in, they can see the whole list. They may not be the requester, but they at least know the status of the request on their campus and being able to see that. So having the conversation and sitting down and then going through it to make sure everything is routed where it should be and that people can access it, at least even if they're logging in to see it as a high level overview. Okay, and then we have one last meeting. And so at that May 7th meeting, we're going to be looking at our facilities phasing plan. We'll take into consideration, of course, timing, any updates we have on when we'll receive our reimbursement for the Gavilan View kitchen modernization, because that would go towards our next project. Because and for community to understand how we fund a lot of these large modernization projects, as some of our bond funds is used to pay that state portion until we receive that reimbursement, and then we're able to put that towards the next project. Because you only receive it after the project is done and on the state timeline, which sometimes can be 3 to 5 years. And so
I'm impressed. Thank you to everybody on the school modernization committee, and continue the great work. You know, we're trusted with so many millions of dollars, and making sure that they go to the right place and make sure it's well spent. I'm glad it's being documented. I'm glad we're seeing systems put in place to guard against waste as well as efficient use of. So thank you.
Yep.
Facilities committee, only 2 board members.
yes, yeah.
That was an informational item, and as I mentioned, I really appreciate the hard work that the facilities committee does. Okay, so we are at 8.2, a public hearing, a waiver for extended school year.
Oh,
That's my item. Do I
We
speak
need
at
to
this
open the
time?
public
Sorry.
hearing.
Sorry.
So did we say the time?
We did not do the information before we open the hearing, or open the hearing first.
Usually we open the hearing and she can share.
All right,
Yeah.
so we are going to open the public hearing at 6:47. This is a public hearing regarding a waiver for extended school year, and this, as Ms. Grundy is going to talk about it, we're talking about the number of days, not the number of minutes that the children will receive.
Correct. They'll receive the same amount of minutes. It's just a reduction of the 19 days. And by law, we need to do the 20. So it's the same amount of minutes, but just with the less amount of days.
lovely.
We did the same waiver last year. So yeah, anytime there's an adjustment of the 20 days, we need to take it to the board and to the different representatives and make sure everyone's on the same page.
So will the ESY calendar will sort of mimic the, right, what the other children are
Yeah,
receiving?
so we're in complete alignment with the Gen Ed summer school program, right? It gives great opportunity for inclusion. It supports programming. The food piece is a lot easier. It's also easier for parents, right? For families that have multiple children and students in our programs. So we're even using the same registration link and then going through on the back end and sorting through the students that qualify for ESY. So yes, Summer and Madonna have been pivotal in us aligning our systems.
And this is specifically ESY for children who have ESY in their
Correct.
IEP.
Yep.
Right. Any other questions? Okay. If we have no public comment coming in, okay, then I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing at 6:49. So that was our discussion. And so then we're going on to 9.1, which would be the approval of the waiver for the extended school year. So if I could get a motion for that.
I make a motion to approve the waiver.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, Captain.
Motion 3-0.
As we mentioned, when we came back into open session, we changed the board agenda to eliminate 9.2. So I am going on to 9.3, approve contract for auditing services.
Mhm.
Thank you. This is our renewal for our annual contract. We are required by the state to have an outside audit of our programs, and they assess the appropriateness of our accounting policies, our significant estimates made by management, and it's essential to ensuring our transparency, accountability, and our compliance. And we're staying with the same firm that we've worked with in prior years as well, Moss Levy and Hartzheim.
Any questions?
Maybe this is for a future discussion. When we have recurring item, cost items such as this one, it would be helpful to know what last year's cost was, just to see, what the increase was. That would help me as a board member to evaluate, the cost differences and maybe ask for alternate provider or vendor. But in this case, I'm okay.
I can tell you that it is the same cost as it was the prior year, but I can certainly at our next meeting bring you some documentation of how much.
Oh, no, I'm just saying in generally, speaking, it would just help me as a board member to
Yes.
see the price differences between year to
Mhm.
year. But yeah, I'm okay with it. A motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, Captain.
Motion 3-0.
So we are now at 9.4 to the ratification of the approval of the contract with our CBO consultant.
Thank you. While our CBO is on a leave of absence, we have begun consultation with Kenneth Dwayne Wolgamott, who is a CBO consultant frequently used in Monterey County. This contract is not to exceed $10,000 through the end of this fiscal year.
Any questions?
Yep. I move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, Captain.
Motion 3-0.
So now we're at 9.5, approval of CSBA manual maintenance policy updates. So these are the things that are suggested to us by the state to be in compliance with the law. And then the district does an exemplary job of going through and figuring out the ones that are right for our district. Sometimes there are different options based on the size of your district or the students that you serve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, Captain.
Motion 3-0.
Nine-
My
9.6,
favorite one's coming.
approval of Gold Coast Plumbing Services quote.
All right, this is the installation of our next 2 bottle filling stations, and these 2 will go in at McKinnon Elementary School. The stations, again, are equipped with filters and provide chilled water. We were able to see what those look like when we had our town hall at New Republic, and students were already happily using those, and Summer professed that the water is delicious,
Cool.
and she is a water snob, so we
Mhm.
for judgment. So this, and then the remaining schools will be included in our future projects because they have a little bit of a different electrical and plumbing need with them. And so McKinnon will be very similar to New Republic, which is why it's going next. And then that's a dollar amount, a little under $15,000.
I'm so happy for this. Not only for the environmental, damage plastic does, but as more information comes out of microplastic and, it's invading our bodies. So whatever we can do to protect the students and make sure they have, they're hydrated in the most healthiest way. So
I want to give some kudos to Chuck Helm because he worked to make sure that we would be able to fund this through our cafeteria fund, which has the funds available to do this for our students.
And then also the town hall meetings, I think was brought forward.
It's a direct result of those.
Exactly.
Yep.
So that was nice to know that.
All hail Chuck. Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Captain.
Motion passes 3-0.
So we are now at 10.1. Our next regular board meeting will be April 22nd, 2026. And then at 10.2, board members, do we have any suggested future board items? Okay, the only thing, we discussed this a couple times before, but just I would love a presentation of regarding Head Start or any other programs for little ones that we're hosting on our campuses that are serving our people. I would appreciate that.
I reached out.
Yeah, I knew you were on it.
Yeah.
All right.
I did have one. I know when we met with the Snakes Union District, we talked about doing some projects for our eighth graders to work in with the portrait of a graduate. I would like to see any feedback on that. To make that bridge, make that bridge.
I've been sending out the bridge program. So Rancho San Juan and I have been working together for all of our eighth graders to attend their bridge program at Rancho San Juan. And so I just sent out the second round of requests for that also.
Thank you.
And so, yeah, there's been collaboration with them
you.
for the summer service.
All right. With that, 11.1, can I have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
And I second that motion.
All those in favor?
I
Aye.
Motion 3-0. Thank you.
have a great week, everybody.